What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Mo the Show. So, for the last 30 days, I haven't spent a single stub in Diamond Dynasty. Now, why am I doing this?
Why the hell am I doing this?
Because I'm crazy? Because I think I can outplay all the spenders and the no money spenders out there? Not only no, but hell no. No, it's an evaluation, it's an experiment. Decided to try this out to see just how good or how bad the cards that they're willing to give us hold up to other rosters that people are building based on spending money and spending stubs. So let me share with you how things are going, what my stub count is, how my pack luck has been, and what the rewards only roster looks like right now. So this is pretty much it. This roster is based on reward cards only. This isn't really the roster that I use because there are live series cards that I pull that I do use. But when it comes to rewards only, this is kind of what we're looking at. Bench is a bench. Again, these are based on rewards. Same thing with pitchers. I think the only one to hold on to out of here is Outlighter. That might be pretty much it. And then as far as the bullpen goes, Duran would probably be a keeper. I don't know what people are saying or thinking about the Kimball card. I haven't had good luck using Weathers. I've had better luck with O'Day over Helsley. But yeah, this rewards only roster, not from packs, reward specifically, is lacking. Maybe towards the beginning of the year, any of these cards that were still available would probably be a lot higher. But right now, already, barely into the second inning, again, we've got a few keepers depending on, who you have, who you got, just by spending stubs. V-Mart, he's a new player. You can put at first or catcher. And of course, the live series cards. Now, speaking of live series cards, these are the cards that I have pulled from reward packs. You see Shohei right at the bat. I got extremely lucky pulling Shohei. Pulled him maybe just recently. And that's still mind-blowing to me. But I think the first time when I pulled was actually J-Ram. So, of course, he's been my third baseman. I pulled Acuna Jr. pretty soon, too, and using him for a bit before I got other players. My catcher has been Cal Raleigh, switch hitting catcher. But now that I got Mackey, who's also a switch hitter, he's got better fielding, better pop time, better arm. I'm going to see how he works out. And as far as speed goes, PCA and Carroll, I've had golds. I've been using a lot of golds, especially for relievers. Munoz. There's also, Cade Smith I've started to use. I've been seeing him more online. He's got a really wonky, jittery, janky kind of delivery. Adrian Morion, I've been seeing him a lot. I've been using him also, been seeing him a lot. So let's get into the good and the bad and the ugly. Now this has been good, bad, and ugly more so for me in this no stub spend account, but I'm also sure it's affected at least some, if not all of you, at least a little bit. So starting out with the good. The good at launch, the World Baseball Classic content. That was really good, and that was a lot for Diamond Dynasty anyways. A collection of about 140 cards, a lot of diamonds to be able to pick up through the 4 pool programs, topped off with the recap program. It was a lot of stuff. Another good thing for no sub spent and for everyone was mini seasons this year. We had 2-3 mini seasons to kind of kick us off. New threads kind of kicked off a little bit after launch. But I mean, going back to the World Baseball Classic content, that mini season is a lot of stuff, and it's probably the easiest one to do. The fact that you can also choose between 28 games or just 7 games for each of the mini seasons helps things speed up a whole lot, especially if you're looking to get packs, like something that I definitely need, for no stuff spent. All right, next up, the bad. The bad for me personally, again, no stubs spent that also meant I couldn't spend any stubs on showdowns. So for the showdowns that we did have, that's like 10 diamond players right there that I couldn't get because I decided to make the rule that I couldn't spend any stubs on any mode entries also. So that was 10 diamonds that I couldn't get a hold of right off the bat. Next up were the bosses. The two bosses for each of the indie programs. I can only choose one. I'm glad that they made it available so that you could purchase the other ones, but for me with no stuff spent, I had to choose one and stick with it. It also kind of led into collections. Collections, well, for me, very difficult. I mean, the live series collection is hard enough as it is when you are spending stubs, but there's just no way, no hope of being able to finish that collection at all. Even maybe like one of the teams, for crying out loud. Now, it was a little bit better than I thought for some of the other collections, but like with the new threads and Jackie, there's only so far I could get with each of those collections without spending stubs. Now let's talk about the ugly. Now these are stuff that I don't necessarily like or agree with the mode overall and what SDS has decided to do. This not only affects me, but this affects everyone. So to begin with, one good thing was the World Baseball Classic content, but that's also an ugly thing because it's only in Diamond Dynasty. When they released that trailer and then seeing the comments about what people were saying, I felt the same way. Hey, have this available as its own tournament or have it available in franchise. How cool would it be to have it available in Road to the Show so that your player can choose which country they want to represent, every 3 years. Or if I'm running a franchise, for something a little bit different, something, a little new every 3 years, hey, take control of a team to run through the tournament. Whether it's, using one of the powerhouses for a repeat or trying to take one of the smaller countries all the way. You can't do that. You can only play within Diamond Dynasty. Kind of, a slap in the face to the offline players. There's also more signs, I think stronger and more so this year than the other years, of SDS trying to take more control of the economy, more control away from us as the players. We're the ones that control the economy. We keep it flowing. And how we do that is, well, if you're a spender, you're spending money, you're using that money to basically get inventory and have that inventory available within the marketplace. And then the no money spent players, we're going in to, kind of control, kind of set boundaries, if you will, around that marketplace, and keep things flowing. So both of those kinds of players are very important for the economy. Now, some things I think they're doing to take away more control from us is, number one, the 20 card limit. Now, like it or don't like it, I can kind of see where they're coming from. They're trying to say this is to help all players out, so that people aren't hoarding all the inventory. However, as a no money spent player the years before, if I go to the marketplace and I saw someone had, 50, 60, 70, almost 100 orders on a certain card, maybe that player was gold with the hope that they would go diamond. Hey, it is what it is. It's kind of annoying at most, but as a no money spent player, there's a way around it. It didn't stop me or prevent me from doing anything, from getting a certain card or finishing a collection. However, it also meant potentially a whole lot more stubs as an investment for that player. And that's kind of what the marketplace is for. Another thing is Battle Royale. I was really surprised to see that, going flawless this year would only get players a $50,000, or excuse me, a 50K stub voucher. That's definitely taking control. The rewards that you would get from going flawless before, that card you could sell for 100, more likely almost like 300,000 stubs. So by going flawless, that would finance, your goals of finishing a live series content or getting, that really, really good player off the marketplace, whatever the case may be. Well, they've taken that away from us, because that 300K that a player could earn, SDS gets nothing of that. Okay, we're getting those stubs from other players in the marketplace. Now they have more control, because instead of getting a card that you can sell for a whole lot of stubs, they are giving you that 50K. And that's pretty much it. As someone who was never really good at Battle Royale, I still love the mode, especially when they had its own reward path, because those cards players would get, they would use them and then they would sell them. And towards the end of that BR program, I would go in and I would buy those and hold on to them, those silvers, those bronzes. And then as the year went on, those bronzes and those silvers, those were all-stars, veterans, second half players. Those would be very valuable for collections and new collections as the year went on, and I'd be able to sell those and make a lot of stubs. Can't do that anymore. Another thing is red diamonds. When I first saw and heard about red diamonds, I thought that was pretty cool and pretty exciting. I originally thought all they were doing was taking those 95s and above and making those, hey, just giving them a new coating, a new badge, a new label of a red diamond. But watching, the trailer and the introduction of those red diamonds, the narrator clearly says, hey, this is a new tier, a higher tier, and a new rarity. So that means the cost of those is going to be more. Or think of a car dealership and a car manufacturer. They're going to have their flagship vehicles that they want to, they want to sell. If they can get more money out of them by putting, some flashy new coat of paint or, some new label on it, hey, the new red line edition or the blackout edition or the new red diamond edition, of course, is going to attract more attention. The demand is going to be higher. The price and the cost of that is going to be higher. So for no stuff spent, those are probably going to be almost out of reach. Well, they certainly are right now because the only red diamonds that we have in the game are through the Live Series collections. I think that as time goes on and as more red diamonds become available, the rarity and the cost of those is going to have an impact on the marketplace, maybe like something we've never seen before. I think the next collection that's going to come out on the 24th is going to involve a red diamond, at least one red diamond. I expect a big drop for red diamonds is going to be during the All-Star break. I think a lot of those are going to be red diamonds. I'm hoping that a lot of those will be earned through All-Star programs, maybe through an All-Star team affinity. However, seeing more red diamonds is just only going to increase the demand. And again, like I said before, the price, for those red diamonds. So I'm definitely a little concerned, a little scared. All right, lessons learned. The obvious confirmations, things that we kind of already knew that I definitely verified for sure, at least for myself. Number one, the marketplace. You got to use the marketplace. If you're going to play Diamond Dynasty, if you're going to work on collections, if there's cards that you want to get or need to get, you got to use the marketplace. There's just no way around it. Now, the marketplace isn't a bad thing. I mean, SDS has made it very clear that it is part of the game. I mean, we're collecting cards, just like in real life. Buying packs. Don't buy packs, by the way. Don't ever buy packs. Get your packs from rewards. Spend your stubs in the marketplace on the cards that you want, the cards that you need. So cards that you want or need, you buy from the marketplace. Cards that you have that you want to sell, you sell them on the marketplace. It's that simple. Don't be scared of it. Don't be intimidated by it. There's a lot of great content creators that do a really good job of breaking down how to take advantage of the marketplace. I certainly learned from all of those content creators. Two bits of advice I want to leave with you all if you're not comfortable with the marketplace is, number one, treat it like the stock market. All those content creators will say the exact same thing, and they are correct. The stock market, the marketplace, like the stock market, is very fluid. It moves very fast, and it is alive. And we are the ones that keep it moving. So if there's a card you want to buy, you'll be able to buy it. If there's a card you want to sell, you'll be able to sell it. One thing I don't want you to do that I see too many people do is, instead of treating the marketplace like the stock market, they treat it like the housing market. Oh, I got to put a higher offer in, or I don't think this is selling, or maybe I put it too high. No, I always go one step above, one step higher, or one step lower to what is on the marketplace, because it moves and flows so quickly. Now, another thing I learned, play multiplayer. For everyone that's been playing it for years, I'm sure you're laughing, and you should be. I was the kind of player that would only do Diamond Dynasty solo, and I would make up excuses to not play multiplayer. I'm too busy. I've got too many responsibilities and obligations and expectations. I just don't have the time to do it. There's all this other content and conquest maps that I got to knock out in mini seasons to get those rewards. I'm going to need those players if I'm going to play multiple. Oh, something else dropped. I got to go do that program first. And this year I was like, well, how can I evaluate how these rewards are if I don't get into multiplayer? So play multiplayer. It is very rewarding. Whether you're good at it or not, you're still going to get a lot of rewards. All right, looking at this reward program for multiplayer 1 for the first inning, I couldn't believe how much I got accomplished, and I wish I had started playing multiplayer sooner, but again, I was making excuses and I was being scared about it. So I finally hopped into one of the events. I think it was the egg hunt event. Finished that event, and then when I was done with the event, I took a look here at, the path and how much I'd gotten, and I couldn't believe that I'd gotten all the way up to like level, 19. With my multiplayer history or lack thereof, I would have been more than happy to get the 5 packs and maybe even that Cattell Marte card. But to get that far up just from playing one event, I couldn't believe it. Now, it took a while, probably longer than it should have to complete that event. I mean, I had to play like 23 or 24 games, I only won 7 of them. But because I was grinding those stats, getting those hits, getting those strikeouts, all that went into the event and into the multiplayer program, and of course the XP reward program. So even though I got my ass kicked, SDS was like, all right, well, thanks for trying, thanks for your effort, have all these rewards. Couldn't believe it. All right, so there you have it. 30 days of no stuff spent. It went well. It started well. It got difficult very quickly as new content got dropped, considering there's a lot of content that was, I guess, behind a stub wall. But that was, from my own choosing. So I may continue doing this for the rest of the year. I may not. If I continue to do this for the rest of the year, all that's going to happen is just continue to realize and reaffirm what I've learned in the first 30 days of, like I said before, hey, you've got to get into the marketplace. You got to flip those cards, make those stubs, spend those stubs, and of course, playing multiplayer. If you're good at it or not, get in there. It's still going to get you a lot of good stuff. So other than that, that's pretty much it. I'll see y'all next time. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later.